Hey everyone, Alan Thrall here, owner of Untamed Strength Gym. I'm in my garage and I'm making this quick video today for the Garage Gym Competition Instagram account. This video includes 3 tips for those of you preparing for your first powerlifting meet. Tip number 1, timing warm-ups before your first squat attempt. The toughest part about a powerlifting meet, in my opinion, is the period of time before your first squat attempt. Not only are you nervous, but you also might be apprehensive about when you should start warming up for your first squat. You don't want to start too early and then end up standing around and getting cold, and you don't want to start too late and feel like your warm-ups are rushed. So pay attention. There will be flights of lifters, usually something like flights A, B, C, and D. Each flight will have 10 to 15 competitors. Flight A will start, and all of the lifters in Flight A will take their first attempt squats, one after another. Then their second attempts, then their third attempts. Let's say it takes 1 minute per lifter per attempt. That's 10 minutes for their first attempts, 10 minutes for their second attempts, 10 minutes for their third attempts, 30 minutes for one flight to complete their squats. Now, not everyone takes a full minute per attempt, but spotters and loaders do have to change weight on the bar, they have to adjust the rack height in between all the lifters, so it's pretty close to that. If you're in Flight D and the comp starts at 9 a.m., you might not be taking your first squat attempt until 10:30 a.m. Use this as a rough outline to help you decide when you should start warming up your squats. Some meets are going to be faster than that, some might be a little bit slower. It just depends on how fast the spotters and loaders are moving, how fast the athletes are moving, etc. Now, here's what I would do to help prepare for this. The second you walk into your garage, get your phone out, start a timer, and let it run while you warm up. That includes all the warm up you do. If you like to ride an assault bike, if you stretch, if you do foam rolling, if you like to torture yourself with power tools, whatever it is, include that in your warm up, as well as all your sets with the empty bar, 95, 135, as you slowly warm up. And that's how long it takes you personally to warm up for your first squat attempt. So use that when you're deciding when you should start warming up based on your estimated flight start time. If you'd like to test yourself, something that I like to do is put a strict start time on when I'm going to take my first attempt in the gym, or when I'm going to take my single at RPE 8 or my top single for the day. So what I mean is, I'll walk into the gym, it's 8 a.m., I'll say I'm going to take my first squat attempt or squat single at 8:45 a.m. and I'm just going to space out my warm-ups to try to meet that timeline. On the other end of that, sometimes I'll go to the gym at 8 a.m. and I'll say I'm going to take my first squat single at 8:20 a.m. so that I can feel a little bit more rushed to get my single in, to get my warm-ups done. Play around with this in your garage while you're preparing for your first meet and challenge yourself so that you're not so flustered on meet day if your warm-ups don't go quite as planned. And after squats, you'll have a better idea or better feel for how slowly or how quickly the meet is moving along, which will leave you better prepared for bench press and deadlifts. Tip number 2, the self lift-off. If you are prepping for a powerlifting meet, you're going to have to take some heavy bench press singles beforehand. If you're lifting in your garage, you're probably alone with no one to give you a lift-off. To figure out where to position yourself on the bench for a self lift-off, I should first point out the correct starting position for the bench press. When you're benching, the barbell starts directly over your shoulder joint, not over your face and not over your stomach. If the barbell starts directly over your shoulder joint, you should set up in a position where the barbell is only a couple inches away from your shoulder joints when it's sitting in the J-hooks. Point your arms straight up to the ceiling. The barbell should only be a couple inches away from your arms at this point. If your shoulders are too far away from the bar, the unrack will take a lot of effort. And if your shoulders are too close to the bar, you risk hitting the uprights during the press. Once you're in the correct position, get your back tight, dig in with your feet, take a big breath, unrack, and PR. Tip number 3, deadlift attempt selection. A lot of first-time powerlifters set their deadlift attempts a bit too high. They'll lift 400 pounds in their garage. When they're fresh, when the mood is right, when they're feeling good, hype is high, their favorite song is playing, the stars are aligned. So they think, I'm going to set all-time PRs at my powerlifting meet. I'm going to deadlift 410 pounds. And they fail to realize that these deadlifts are going to be done at the end of a very long day. After 3 max squat attempts, after 3 max bench attempts. On my first powerlifting meet, I was there for over 12 hours, and all I had brought with me was a protein bar. I had no transportation, so I couldn't go and get food. I just had no idea how long the meet would be, and I didn't know that I would need that much food. Anyways, it's a long day. I'm not trying to sell you short and tell you to expect subpar performance, but I'm encouraging you to have a plan A and a plan B. This applies to all your lifts, but especially for the deadlift. For your deadlift opener, pick a weight that you can hit for 2 or even 3 reps on any given day under any circumstances. Then for your second attempt, you should have a plan A of what you would like to hit and a plan B, just in case that opener didn't move as well as you had hoped. For your third attempt, you should also have a plan A, what you would ideally like to hit if everything goes well, and a plan B, just in case your second attempt didn't move very well. If you picked your plan B on your second attempt, you should probably pick your plan B on your third attempt. I'm sure you want your squat, bench, and deadlift to be all-time PRs, and hopefully it happens like that. But in reality, if it's your first meet, all successful lifts are meet PRs. And it does not matter how much weight you miss. It matters how much weight you successfully lift. And honestly, you're probably gonna feel a little bit better about yourself if you get 3 successful deadlift attempts and leave a tiny bit in the tank, rather than failing 2 or 3 of your lifts. That's it. Hopefully this is helpful. Good luck at your first powerlifting meet. If you're not following Garage Gym Competition Instagram account and you're interested, go check them out. Trend on time!